Hello everyone, it's Aaron again for another video. Today we're not really reviewing anything. I do have a couple more guns coming up for review very soon. But today we had planned a hunting and pesting trip. But outside right now it's raining really hard and it's cold as heck. So we decided to cancel it. But because I had everything out that I used to hunt and do pesting with, I decided, well, I'm going to do a pesting video and show you some of the equipment we use here, making recommendations to you about what I think is the best equipment to use. And maybe try to even save you some money in terms of some of this equipment that you may not need or may be able to augment and do something different that I think is just as effective. So today I'm going to be covering 5 things really quickly. First, sitting or being able to sit while hunting is very comfortable, especially if you get old as I am, and I'm sure there are a lot of you doing that. Or the second one is going to be gathering up. I see a lot of people out there gathering up pest, and I think that they're taking some chances on how they do that, so I have some recommendations for that. Third is going to be shooting platforms. I think that in the field, shooting platforms are very important, and that you should always have a shooting platform with you, and we'll talk about 3 different ones that I use. 4, we're going to talk about hides. In some situations it might be appropriate to have a hide with you. What is a good portable hide that you can set up in just a matter of seconds and be in the field and ready to go? And number 5 will be camo. What's the best camo, and how can you do camo effectively on the cheap? Okay, so those are the 5 things we're going to try to cover. So let's get started right here, right now. How's that? Okay. The first thing is sitting. For me, the best thing in the world, and I'm sitting on it right now, is a bucket. And it's mainly because a bucket can do many things for you. Okay? Not only is it a sitting place for you, and I'm talking about how I built this in a second, but it's also very good for carrying game in. If you got to carry some refreshments with you or whatever, in plastic bags, of course, put in some refreshments, some things to eat, something to drink, that sort of thing, while you're in the field. All that can fit in there. And then at the end of the day, you can put your game in here to carry it back. This is basically just a bucket. And what I did was I went out and bought out duct tape. This is camouflage duct tape. And basically all I did was start at the bottom and start wrapping it around and around all the way up to the top. And now this bucket, it used to be white and would be an eyesore and would alert any game to your whereabouts, is now perfectly camouflaged. And of course you can buy these seats. These seats, they sell, I think I paid $6 or $7.99 for it. It fits on the top of any 5-gallon bucket. It turns and swivels. It's very comfortable because it's padded. So that is the platform that we use while we're out in the woods. We're able to put extra stuff in here, grab this, bring this handle up, and walk to the woods. You can get one of these buckets anywhere for $2 or $3. Probably can find them for free. And the top, like I said, is $7. Make sure you leave the handle on it. Don't take that off, because you're going to need that for carrying purposes. But then it slides down out of the way, and you back down, and you're on your platform, and you are now able to do your hunting. So the bucket is highly recommended. I've seen people carry seats with cute little bags on them, and I've seen those things dig into the soft ground and them topple over almost and that sort of thing. A bucket is your best alternative, and it's your cheapest alternative. Now if you don't want to go with duct tape in one, simply get a black bucket, and that will take care of everything. I'll talk about that more when I get into camouflage, why I think a black bucket is really effective in the woods. So that's a sitting platform. Secondly is gathering. I've seen some videos on TV of people picking up pests with their hands. Never recommend it. Okay? What you want to do is this. One of 2 things. You could throw some latex gloves in here. Put those on. I really recommend it when you're cleaning. I see people cleaning things with their bare hands. You know, you could have open cuts on your hand and different kinds of things and you're mixing blood, basically. So if you're cleaning something, get those latex gloves and put them on, and make sure that you have those on just in case you have some sores or some open sores or something on there. You don't want to be mixing fluids from the animal into you. The second part of that is a way of picking up your animals. To me, this is the best thing in the world. You can get them everywhere. I'm quite sure you guys have seen these. But don't get the long one because it tends to get in the way. I'm recommending that you get the one that folds. Because the one that's folded, the nice thing about it is it goes into the bucket if you want to put it into the bucket. It goes easily in your pocket. Comes out when you want to use it. Okay? And so what I do is, okay, let's just say I shot a bunch of birds. And now it's time for me to go and pick those birds up. I'll have a plastic liner in here. Use a liner that you would use at home for your trash. You would grab this bucket and you would walk along, simply putting your birds or rats or whatever into here. And then not touching inside the bucket because the bucket is lined. That way when you pull the plastic out, there's no contamination of the bucket. But definitely use this, especially if you're older like me. You young guys out there that can easily still bend over and pick up those things, latex gloves. Okay? All right. So that's the second part of that. So we covered sitting, how to do a nice bucket for yourself. We covered how to gather your things up. Latex gloves or this, but latex gloves all the time. Just keep them with you. Okay? So that's how we gather them. Okay. Shooting platforms. Now I have 3 shooting platforms. There's a 4th, and it works out pretty well. And the 4th one is basically here. There it is, your shooting platform. I find though for me, I can hold it a lot steadier with a shooting platform. I have 3. And I'll bring them out each one at a time and talk about the what I can think is the good points and the bad points of both, if they have bad points. The first is my 3-prong. Okay. The great thing about this is that once you spin it around and set it up, and it's adjustable, of course, all the way to a standing position. But once you set it down here, you got your platform, your guns across your lap, or already in the shooting position, but you got to keep mine across my lap, because a lot of times what will happen is the vermin may come in over there. Drop that there, make my spin, drop the gun on top of it, bam. Come in the other side, drop it over here, set it down, bam. Very, very quickly. So I love the 3-prong because it's able to hold its position. You know, once you get it all set up and get your length down and everything, the thing maintains its position. You could easily make a quick move with it to either side. And if you have to do it in a stealthy manner, you just turn it, move slow, turn it, set it down, bring your gun up slow, pew, and you got your shot. The bad thing about this is for standing, because I find that if you're on the move with this thing, I wish I could stand up and show you, but to show you, pretend I'm standing. You got to now deploy it. Okay, from a sitting position, it's easy. You got your gun across your lap, but from a walking position, that's a little bit harder. And one thing I'm gonna try to throw in here before I go is the single point sling that we have on our guns. But you're out in the field and you're walking, all of a sudden you see something, a shot, off in the distance. And if the thing can see you, it's really, really bad. But you got to now deploy this thing. And sometimes if it's not right, you got to adjust the legs to the right level. And that's just way too much movement. So the 3-prong one is very, very good. It's probably the most stable of the 3 I'm going to show you. But the downside of it is, in a walking scenario, it doesn't work. In a sitting scenario, it can work very, very well. Okay. But another thing I would say about it also, because this happened to me yesterday when I was squirrel hunting, is I was in this position here, and all of a sudden the squirrel came down the tree, and I was really in the shooting position because the squirrel's on the ground that day. I was on the shooting position for the ground, and all of a sudden this guy's 3/4 of the way up the tree. Can't get to him. So now I got to sit here and try and do this, or I got to try to take an off-the-shoulder shot, which is it's not a good one for a safe, for a humane kill a lot of times. Okay, so that's another factor that you have to come in with the 3-prong. The other one I have here is the 2. I love the 2 because it's quicker to deploy because you're only dealing with 2 legs. And also, it's the same thing, but let me say the downside of it. I'm sitting here with my gun, and this is here, and this is here, and this thing, and all of a sudden I see something to shoot at. All of a sudden now I gotta bring this out, set it up, move it to its position, set the gun on top of it, and take my shot. Okay, in that particular case, the 3 wins, because the 3 is already right there. I make a quick move with my gun's on top and I'm shooting it. This here, unless you're gonna sit there with your gun on it the whole time, and then if it's over there, you still gotta take your gun down and move it over here. So this, I do not recommend for a sitting position. I recommend this more for a standing and walking position. Again, I'm walking along, and all of a sudden I see a shot. Okay, I can, before I do anything, I can quickly, if it's a shot on the ground, I already got it set to that level for standing, and I'm on it. The nice thing about this too is that once you set the length on the 3-prong, you're at that level. But you can change the level by this, with a lean. If I lean it forward or back, all of a sudden I'm shooting down, all the way to an up position, all the way down to a down position, all the way to an up position. So this is generally my favorite one to use, because again, the stability factor on this is really, really high. Your wobble on this as a platform is forward and back. Your wobble on the 3 is none at all. Stable. But this, you can't get that kind of effect going. The last one I'll talk about, and this is the one I use the most, is my mono. Love this mono. And I love this mono for 2 reasons. Now, let me talk about the downsides of the mono first. With a mono, you got the circular miss, okay? This thing here can move all over the place. So, talking about the 3 of them again. The 3-legged one, the tri, is going to be stable. The bi is going to be stable except for rocking the 4. This is going to be the least stable because of what it can do. It actually has to, it can actually go sideways, forward, or back. But the nice thing about this, though, I find, is that you can, if you practice with it, that's not a factor. I will take this thing here and sit it on my lap, drop my gun on it, and I can stabilize it. Not much rocking it at all. Okay. Another thing I like about this is this. I can put this thing in one position, and I'll say this about it too. This is a rubber end I have on here, but if I was in the field, I would not be. I would wind this down, and there's a spike here. That spike goes into the ground and ensures that this thing is not going to move. Don't want to scratch the floor, so I got it down. But this is the nice thing about it. I got this gun here, and all of a sudden he's coming from over there. It's like I can lean it. Pow. I can be here. I can lean it. Pow. And it gives me more coverage from one position. So the downside of this is that circular motion. The upside of this is it get the range of motion on it. It's amazing. Where if you got the 2-prong, you got to make movements like this, this, and this. It's the same thing from a standing position. And the third thing I'm going to say, do not, if you buy one of these, any of the 3 of them, do not get the ones that screw. Do not get them, because they're going to kill you in the field. Especially if you're walking along and you see prey and it's not on a level that's already set. Get the ones like this. And they got some, a friend of mine, he has one now that I saw that he had, that you push a button right here and just push this button and it goes right to the position. It's pretty expensive. Okay, this thing here was really, really cheap since it was a mono. But what I like about it is this. If I'm walking along and I'm gonna pretend we're standing again. We're walking along and all of a sudden I see something up a tree. Pow, that's down. That's down. That's down. Now I can adjust it to position. I can lock these, adjust it to the position I want quickly, and lock it, and take the shot. So when you get it, do not get the screw on. Get the ones with the latches, or get the one with the trigger if you have enough money. I think they're in the hundreds, that you can push, and this will go up and down. As soon as you let go of that trigger, it locks on there, because you're going to get a lot more game with it, so it's going to be worth the money. Okay, but this is my favorite and favorite. And another thing, convenience too, it's so easy to carry. I throw this thing over my shoulder like this, and I'm walking through the woods, and I got my gun here on a mono swing, and I'm walking like this. Okay, if I see something, I can take it off my shoulder, bring it around. Usually it'll be on my left shoulder because my gun's on my right. Bring it around, hit this, lock them down, and do my final adjustment from here, and lock it down. So when you're taking a look at those are the things you want to consider. So those are my shooting platforms. Let's take a look at hides. Okay, I have a number of hides that I use. I'm gonna go with a recommendation. I'm gonna go with the easiest hide in the world first. This is just an umbrella. It happens to be camo. I'm sure you can buy them anywhere. But watch how instant this hide is. I pop that thing up, drop it down. I'm hitting, and I got my monopod or whichever one of those pods at this level here, and everything is shooting over the top of it. Boom, 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 boom. And my coverage is about 45 degrees in terms of nothing being able to see me, and I'm right here, comfortable, looking out, and nothing sees me. And when I'm done and I want to move, I push a button. Down comes my little umbrella, and I'm walking to the next place. Again, I can take this thing here, stick it down my belt, and so between this hide, my monopod, and my bucket, I'm ready to go. Very, very light, very, very easy to do. Okay. And when I get to camo, we'll talk again about the umbrella and the bucket. Well, I'm in camo when I come to the end of camo. All right. So if you can find one of these, it's great. Set it in front of you, set it down, and you're hidden. The next one is a self-made hide. I have these sticks. They were actually for a tent that we had, and I kept them because they had a point on them. And the thing I like about this is that I can make a hide in no time on two levels. Okay, I can make it on this level if I want to, which is way too short, of course. I could drop this in here, put that in the ground. Now that's a little high. Okay, for me. Now what I could do if I wanted to, I could trim this down. I haven't used this thing yet, but I have it for that purpose. I could trim this thing down to whatever size I wanted of the umbrella, shove them into the ground, give me a piece of camouflage cloth between the two. And then when I'm finished, pop it back up, roll it back up, and I'm gone. The good thing about it is it gives you more coverage, because as you can see, if I spike this thing all the way out, I can spike it all the way up to a standing position easily. And you can adjust it to the size that you want. But it's a little cumbersome in that you have to do all of this to get set up. And then you also have to attach the piece to it. But it is a good alternative. But to me, I like the umbrella overall in terms of hides. Another one is this. I got this a year or so ago, and it's a very good hide also. This thing here comes out, it's got bars on it, and it deploys in front of you, and it opens up to, I believe, a secondary level. I'm not going to deploy it now because I do not want to take it all out. But basically, this thing here will sit all the way across you like that. And for the most part, you don't need to be hitting all the way up to your face. You know, if you got this thing down low enough, and you're in this position here, and you're looking, you camo pretty good. And 90% of the time, movement is what they see. It's very seldom that they see anything that's not moving. I was still one time. I had a squirrel walk right past me in full camo. He stopped for a minute. He did something weird. He looked up at me and continued to walk on by. I could have kicked him. Okay, but if I would have blinked an eye or if I would have moved, off he would have went. So movement is your most dangerous thing when you're out in the woods and you're trying to do hunting. And all the hide does, as effectively, is if you're not moving, unless the thing has some sharp eyes or very, very close to you, it doesn't even know you're there. What this thing does, it doesn't hide me per se. It does, but in terms of what I want to do, it hides my movement. Okay? All of a sudden I see a squirrel over here or something over there or whatever. I'm down here and I'm looking at this level. I can now bring around my bipod or my monopod to a shooting position, bring my gun up on top of it and do all that movement with just a little barrel sticking over the top of this thing. And I can take my shot and nothing's going to detect that movement. Whereas if I did not have a hide and I was sitting on my bucket, and now I got to do all this movement. And in the woods, movement is what gives you away, not the hide. So the hide is to conceal movement, in my opinion. Okay, last thing we're going to say about camo, and we're going to wrap this thing up, is this. If you don't want to go out and buy this expensive camo, some of it is expensive, and you can find some on budget. If you wait to the end of the year, like right now, at the end of the, not right now, but right at the end of the season when the snow starts to fall, and all of a sudden this fall camo is out, you can get the stuff for 60–70% off. I bought it for 70% off. So buy it out of season. Buy it at the end of the season, or at the very beginning. Sometimes you can save up to 20 or 30%. But to me, the most effective camo for those of you who are going to be doing this every now and then, instead of often like we do, black. Okay, black. Put on everything black. Pants, top, hat. Everything black. Because the nice thing about black, I've seen some, and I had a friend in Vietnam, and he said that a lot of times the Viet Cong would simply wear black, all black in the woods. And he says if they did not move, you did not know they were there. They were not silhouetted, because there would be enough stuff between them and you, a couple of limbs here, a bush there, and they'll just fall into the shadows. So if you ever go hunting, you don't have all this stuff, put on all black. Go back to the point I made earlier. If you don't want to do all this wrapping and duct taping to your bucket, get a black bucket. And if you can get one and paint it matte black so there's no shine. Okay? And you're going to blend in wherever you are. Because the nice thing about it is this. If I have on all black now, okay, and I got movement here, and I got on all black, that movement is concealed. Because the black on the black is not going to show the movement. So as long as I stay within myself, the black is going to work. And so I think that if it worked in the jungles of Vietnam, it probably can work here in the forest of the United States. So don't feel as though you have to buy all of this stuff in order to go out there and be effective. Black will work. And I'm going to tell you another thing too. If you don't want to go out and pay $100 or $59 or $60, go online. I'm not going to talk about it because there's a lot of this online. But go online and look up homemade or your own made, or do it. The big thing now is DIY. Go in and get DIY hunting sticks. And they'll basically show you how to take a band, put around these sticks, and if you get that band around it tight enough, but at the same time when it's closed, that you can slide it, you can be here, throw this out, bring it to the level you want, and shoot. A couple broomsticks, and a big rubber band or a bungee, and you have the same thing I have over here, and it's free. Okay, so take that into account. It's the same thing with the mono. Okay, you got this thing here. The mono is your hand is going to become the brace for it. Okay, so you got a shot over there. Bring your hand up here. Drop your hand. Got that on top of it, and you got it. But I would say that you probably going to need to get a little stability on this elbow, perhaps, if you could. But otherwise, you could learn to shoot from there. Again, broomstick, probably 5 feet tall. You can lean down behind it and take shots way into the air. So there are cheaper ways of doing this. Again, because I had all this stuff out and I was getting ready to go hunting today and it fell through, I decided, well, why not talk to you guys about some of the things that we use to go hunting and to go pesting. So this is Aaron again. Please leave your likes, dislike, comments, or whatever. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching my channel, and those of you who subscribed, I send out a big appreciation to you. And I'll just keep trying to pass on stuff that I think is helpful. If it gets to the point where it's not helpful to any of you, I'll stop doing it. So comment and let me know what you think, and stay safe. Goodbye for now.